In this video, I'm going to discuss ROM and BIOS. And you're sitting there going, what the heck is ROM and BIOS? Well, let's go way back to when computers were first introduced on the market. These first computers actually had RAM and ROM. Now, RAM is, of course, random access memory. And as you know, the very second you turn your computer off, RAM forgets everything. And you turn your computer on and new things get stored in the RAM and so on and so forth. But ROM was different. Computer programming instructions were actually burnt onto ROM chips so that when you turn your computer on, the very second you turned it on, these instructions would go into your computer and start your computer up. Well, things got more sophisticated. You ended up with your hard drives, you ended up with your disk drives, you ended up with your mice and your keyboard and these wonderful little monitors that are so sophisticated these days. So they changed ROM to BIOS, alright, which stands for the beginning input-output system. And it's the first thing that starts up on your computer when you turn your computer on. You'll even see it when you look at your computer as it's turning on. You'll see it before you see Windows. Well, then things got even more sophisticated. So what they did was they created things called firmware. So now the BIOS, all it does is it actually accesses each one of those devices, your disk drives, your keyboard, your mouse, your monitor, and those components send their own special firmware back to the motherboard to tell the motherboard, hey, I'm here and this is how I work. And this happens every single time you turn on your computer. And if it doesn't, your computer just doesn't work. It's that simple. So you need a BIOS, okay? The BIOS on your motherboard these days is just for your motherboard. In the old days, it was actually for everything, but now it's for just your motherboard. And the reason why they did this is because computers are being upgraded so quickly these days. Disk drives are being upgraded. You add USB components to your computer and they're being upgraded all the time. Your keyboards are being upgraded all the time. Your mice are being upgraded all the time. Your monitors are being upgraded all the time. You don't want to be changing your BIOS every single time you upgrade some component on your computer. So that's why there's firmware stored on each device as you install them. That's why they call it plug and play. Alright. Hopefully that cleared everything up. You may be more confused than ever, and you may want to do some research on BIOS just to understand a little bit better. But hopefully I got a basic idea of how this stuff works to you in this video. I will talk about more computer terms in a future video, so stay tuned.